Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Winners Ways podcast. This is where we help our audience to maximize their life. So we talk about money, we talk about career, and we also give people life motivation so that they can live to their fullest potential. Guys, today I'm excited and I'm excited because we have a guest with us today. We have Chris Craddock, who is a nationally certified life coach and a top real estate professional. So Chris is going to be sharing his experience with us. I know for sure most of you guys, you've heard about real estate investing. I know you want to learn how you can become a real estate investor. And that's what Chris is going to teach us today. So, hey, Chris, welcome to my show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Okay, so that's nice. Before we go into the whole interview, I would like you to quickly introduce yourself to my audience so that they can know you better.
Yeah, well, so I got into real estate and what was it? The early 2000s. I was on staff with a ministry, an organization called Young Life, and loved it, but I made, when you're making like 20 to $25,000 a year, it's hard to raise a family on that. And so I ended up flipping some houses in 2003. I made 12 times what I made in a year in about 4 months in ministry and doing the house flipping stuff. And yeah, that made enough money to continue doing ministry for years and years. But anybody that knows what it's like with a lot of kids knows that the money runs out quick. And so I started flipping houses again in I guess it was like 2011, 2012. I mean, I'd gotten to the point where in 2010, I was trying to sell my blood to have enough money to buy Christmas presents for our family, right? Like that was where we were. And so then we started flipping houses again. And I'd gone back to school. I'd gotten a theology degree, and then I got a doctorate in leadership. And so I always led large groups of people. And I came across Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book and decided to start a real estate agent team. And yeah, we started growing that. And then from there, we built a title company, a construction company, insurance, like all of these different companies, a bunch of different verticals from there. But really the big key here is the combo of investing and working as an agent, helping buy and sell properties.
Oh, wow. So, Chris, thank you very much for that intro. And I also did some checks on you to, just to learn more about what you do. And I'm blown away to see that your company, the Redux Group, you guys sold over 160 million in volume in real estate in 2020. That's fantastic because 2020 was quite a challenging year here in the US. So how did you do it?
Yeah, so it was incredible. Like, I mean, so many people were looking to not do anything in real estate, is what I thought. But then the crazy thing is the market just popped like crazy because everybody was staying home. And so then they realized, oh my gosh, I don't want to stay home. I don't want to stay home in this house. I got to find a new house. And so everybody was moving because that's where they were living. And yeah, so it was great because we started selling more, doing more business, and it was just incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah, maybe that's why they say in every challenging situation, you can find some opportunities because you are totally right. 2020 was a tough year because the world was, of course, dealing with all this coronavirus lockdown. I was surprised to learn that many people at the same time were trying to buy a new house. So that's a surprise. So I saw that you have this RIE Revive program,
Sure.
and this is for real estate investor. Can you please walk us through that program? How does it work?
Yeah. So most real estate agents, most real estate investors they either work with an agent, right? Which is one of the things, we have a lot of investors that work with us. They reach out to us and say, help us find a great property, right? Help us find something under market, get us a deal, just help us here. And so they either do that, or the other side is they go direct to seller. And there's stuff like batch leads. If you use the promo code uncommon, or deal machine, if you use the promo code uncommon, you can do that for like half price. But they can go direct to seller for those leads. And but if they do, then what are they going to do with the people that don't want to sell at a discount? What I teach people how to do is how to partner with a real estate agent or become a real estate agent, right? And then monetize those leads where people aren't looking to sell at 65 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar.
Wow. So, when you started, you explained, when you were working and maybe making 25,000, 35,000 per annum, and how you were trying to build your self up to, secure your financial life. And you went into real estate. And that's the situation with many people. I've heard that the majority of millionaires and billionaires in this country, they have real estate portfolio, and for me, many people, they want to do this. They want to go into real estate investing, but they lack the knowledge or the know-how. Many people, including myself, I must confess, Chris, I always think that, hey, you need this huge capital before you can, start buying property or, becoming a real estate investor. So I want to ask you right now, what does it take to become a real estate investor? Do I need to have $100,000 in my account, or how do I start? How can I, start selling property, flipping property? What do I need to know?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's never about a lack of resources. It's always the lack of resourcefulness, right? So if you want to flip properties, if you want to buy properties, you can do it. You just got to figure a way to do it, right? So if you don't own a property yourself, that's the easiest way to get into it, because there's all these programs everywhere. And again, if you reach out to me on Instagram at Craddock, Craddrock, if you reach out to me on Instagram, I can connect you with lenders who can help you do stuff that like 0% down, 3% down, 3.5% down. So you don't need 100,000 to buy your first house. And if you're renting, your first investment should be your first house. You can even live there for a short period of time. And if you live there for 2 years and you turn it around and sell it like 2 years and 1 day later, then you can sell it tax-free, right? Like you can do that. The second thing is you could buy a house for 3% down, right? Let's say you're buying a $400,000 house. That's $12,000. You buy it for 3% down. After 6 months, 8 months, you move into another one, right? For another $12,000. So that 100,000 that a lot of people think they need to buy a house, you could buy 10 houses for $100,000, right? Like you just move into the next one. And so that's the whole thing, is there's ways to get in to properties when you're there. Now, let's say you're in a property you don't want to move from, you're where you want to be. Well, then you can go to like something like Batch, right? You look up Batch leads, Batch data, Google them, and they'll show you how you can send text messages to people that are likely to sell, right? You send messages out, use the promo code uncommon, and you'll get it at a massive, massive discount. And you can send out these messages, or you could, if that's not what you want to do, you can go to a company called Deal Machine. Download the app for Deal Machine. You literally drive around neighborhoods and you find houses that look like they're dilapidated. They're not as nice. And in Deal Machine, you use the code uncommon, you'll get like a bunch off, right? You'll get a massive discount, right? And so anytime you see a dilapidated house on the map function, you just click it, and it'll save that for you. And then after you find 150 of them, you can literally, it's something called skip trace those numbers. It'll give you their cell phone numbers, their email, and their name and address. And literally you can send them a text. You can call them. You can send them a direct mail message from this app. And literally you just say, hey, I'd like to buy your house. Would you be willing to sell? Boom. And all these people that if their house is dilapidated, they're more likely to sell.
Bro, wow. So Chris, that is spectacular. And I find it funny because I own a piece of rental property, and literally almost every week I have people calling me that, hey, Bola, do you want to sell your property? And I'll be wondering, where did you find my number? How did you get the address to my property? So apparently people have been going on deal machines to check out properties around the neighborhood. Wow. Okay, yeah, I like that. So,
and that's one of the keys is they call them tired landlords, right? The average landlord sells their property within 3 years because they don't want to do it. And I'll tell you, if you only own one property, it's hard to be a landlord. But if you own a bunch of them, then you can kind of create systems to make it easier. So you see a lot of people that are like, I'll hold on to it. And then it just becomes a pain.
Okay. You see, Chris, to be honest with you, I have always thought that I would like to be a real estate investor. So about 5 years ago, I bought my first rental property. And I've gone through like 2 tenants. My current tenant is a great guy. He pays me on time. So he's giving me that peace of mind that I like. But the previous tenant wasn't that great in terms of paying. So I was beginning to think, managing tenant is a pain and I don't want to deal with it. So, but my philosophy, the knowledge that I have is, go on MLS listing, find a property that you like, put in an offer. Of course, I have to have some down payment. And that was why I said, this thing is capital intensive. But, I saw on your website what you guys call BRR Method. That's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. I know this is a faster way of building wealth. Maybe I'm going through the slower route right now because my goal is just to build, buy rental properties from time to time, maybe every 2-3 years, and, build a portfolio of rental property. Can you please take us through that BRR method so that my audience will know more?
Yeah, and let me also speak to the tenants that don't pay. So here's one of the things that I think everybody needs to do if you want to be a landlord. When they apply, they need to pay an application fee, and every adult that's over 18 needs to pay the application fee, and that will check their credit, that will check their criminal background, it'll check all of the different things. And so one thing that I've learned is that if people have bad credit, it doesn't mean they're bad people, right? Like I'm not saying that. Please understand this. But it does mean that making sure they pay their bills on time is not something that has been like a value to them, right? Like, because that's what bad credit is. It means that you're late, right? And now, don't get me wrong. I get it. Sometimes things happen. There's bills, medical bills, people get sick, all the other stuff. I get that. But when you're looking at people, if they have a low credit score, it will tell you a story that it'll probably, what happened in the past tends to repeat itself. If they have a high credit score, then they're probably going to be paying their bills on time, right? It's just the truth there. So it's really important that you actually run through that. And I'll tell you, most landlords that I know, if they're only owning one property, like they lived there and then moved out or something like that, then that happens. The second thing is, in real estate, you win when you buy. You don't win when you sell, right? And so if you're buying on the MLS, you're competing with everybody else, and it's going to be hard to be cash flow positive, right? So you talked about the BRR method, BRRR, buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat, right? That's what that means. And so, so you can't refinance and take money out if you buy it on the MLS because you're paying market value for it. That's why you need to find off-market deals, like with the batch stuff or the deal machine. You need to go directly to the landlord, like people are going directly to you.
Right.
Directly to a homeowner that says, man, my house, like, look, this house is all jacked up. obviously what that tells us is a story, right? They probably don't have the money to fix it. They're behind, they're overwhelmed, they're all these things. And so you're offering them a lifeline saying, hey, I'll buy your house. Now, obviously you're going to buy it at a discount. Well, you buy it as a discount, you fix it up, you put a renter in there, and then you refinance the money. So let's say you buy it for 250,000, you put 30,000 into it. Now it's 280, and now it's worth 400,000, right? So then you refinance that money and you take out all the money you put in plus a little extra, and you're into the house for free, right? Like your whole down payment comes back to you, and now you're renting out that house for free. So that and somebody else is paying for your asset. I always make the joke, if you're renting, you're always paying for a house, right? You're either paying for your house or you're paying for your landlord's house, right? It's much better to be the landlord that somebody else is paying for my asset than to be the renter who is paying off and making somebody else wealthy. And I'll tell you, if you think that you can't buy a house, if you think you can't get into a house, that's a limiting belief. You can do it. You just got to figure out it's not a lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness. And if somebody wants to argue with me, please send me a DM and I will take that challenge any day of the week.
Wow. So that's fantastic, Chris. It's not the lack of resources, but lack of resourcefulness. I like that. And a couple of things that you've shared for people that want to be landlord, you need to make sure you do your background checks. And I like what you said. Again, you said you win when you buy. And people that are buying on MLS listing, they are competing with other buyers. And it's always good to look for off-market houses. That's where people can get the deal. That's fantastic, Chris. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, let's talk about coaching, because there are many of my listeners now. They may want to do this, but they may feel intimidated, like myself. How do I begin? How do I start calling up people? How do I, you said you've given us some tools like deal machines, right? But some people, they need someone that can hold their hands, someone that can guide them. Can you tell us about your coaching business so that people that want to, hey, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. Maybe if they connect with you, Chris, maybe you can guide them. So can you just give us a brief info about that?
Yeah, just reach out to me. I mean, I've got so many great people that I would recommend as coaches. If my program is a good fit for you, that's great. If not, I've got other people that I can recommend for you, depending on what you're looking to do. But at the end of the day, I mean, here's the deal. Just jumping in, even though that's what I did, I read a bunch of books and jumped in. I think that I made a lot of really stupid mistakes, but I still was winning, right? Like it was great, but I made a lot of mistakes. For everybody here, what I would just say is, like, right now, right? Like my team's going to sell 700 houses this year, right? We're doing a massive amount of business. But even with that, I still pay. I mean, I'm paying over this year, I'll pay over six figures for coaching and masterminds and other things. I'm paying, I pay 10% of my income towards personal development. I think that's really important, because your business will grow to the extent you grow. Your life will grow to the extent you grow, right? There's no better investment you can make in how to level up how you think, right? That's it. And the market's going to pay you for the value that you have. And so if you can up the value you can offer to the world, then you're going to make a lot more money. And the way you do that is have people help you get there faster.
Absolutely. So I'm completely in agreement with you there. I also set a goal for myself in terms of, hey, what am I going to learn every year, right? And of course, all the learning and improving your skills, you need to pay some money in order to get that done. I also have coaches that help me maybe in terms of my business or in my career, whatever I want to learn. So that's really, really important. So you talked about mistakes and mistakes in life. I believe you learn from your mistakes and you get better. And mistakes sometimes, even though they can be painful, but if we can extract the lesson from those mistakes, it's generally makes us better. So in your real estate journey or investment, as the case may be, what is one or two lessons that you've learned maybe from your mistake that you want to share with us today?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, one of the things that I'll say is never trust somebody that doesn't walk with a limp. Right. That's a huge thing. If somebody hasn't made mistakes, if somebody says, hey, I've never lost money on a house. If somebody says, I've never made a bad deal, that's not somebody you want to follow, because either they haven't done enough business to get into it, or two, they lie. Right. Like one of the two. Like at some point we all are going to get burned. And the question is, do we learn early how to not get burned? Right. And so that's a big piece. I look at mistakes that I've made. I've overinvested. Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great, talks about, or sorry, How the Mighty Fall is this book. He talks about the hubris born of success, right? We start winning, we start getting successful, and then we think that anything we touch will turn to gold, right? And it doesn't, right? There are times that we make mistakes. That happened to me when I was hiring, right? I made a couple of really great hires for my company at the beginning. And then I thought I could just hire anybody and they would all be great. And so then I made a bunch of other hires that were terrible hires, right? Like the worst, cost me a lot of money and time because I was babysitting instead of building a business. And so that's kind of that whole key there is mistakes are going to happen. But the more you get around the right people, the less you're going to make those mistakes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. So as we are trying to round up on this interview, I saw on your website, and by the way, if you guys want to connect with Chris, you can easily go to wholesale.inc.com. Or just Chris Craddock.com.
Yeah, just my name, chriscraddock.com is the easiest way to get there. Yeah.
So I saw that you are teaching people how to generate 5 to 10 deals per month without spending money on marketing. How does that work?
Well, it's how to actually add to it. So yeah, if people are already marketing, I teach them how to monetize those deals that they aren't monetizing currently through partnering with a real estate agent or being a real estate agent. And then if you're not doing any marketing, if you're not doing any deals, our organization will teach you how to start getting deals, right? How, like through the batch stuff, through the deal machine stuff, like teach you how to find deals so that then you can grow your business, right? Because if you want to really grow a business, your business has to earn the right to grow, right? So that's the key there.
Okay. Now with home prices going higher and higher every year in the United States here, do you think there's still opportunity for people to get in and still make money? And of
100%.
course, I think the Fed, they are going to start increasing the interest rates. Will it be more competitive? Do you still see opportunities in the space?
There's always opportunity. That's the thing. That's the cool thing is there's always opportunity, and like 1947, my grandfather thought that he overpaid for his house that he paid $6,000 for. Right. And now it's worth over $1 million, way over $1 million. Wow. Right. So, I mean, you look back 30 years, you never see a grandfather that said, man, I'm so glad I sold my house 40 years ago. Like that just doesn't happen. Right. Every grandparent says, oh man, if I still own that house, I'd be a millionaire, right? Like that's where they say. So I think that there's always opportunity. Life is like Monopoly, right? You never win in Monopoly if you land on the real estate and you don't buy it. You never win in Monopoly if you don't put those little greenhouses on. You never win in Monopoly if you don't have turn the greenhouses into the red houses, right? That's how we win.
That's right. So do you do any international deals or you are only focusing on the US here?
At this point, just in the US. I mean, there's some other places that I look at, like in the Caribbean, I think would be really, really great. There's some other places that are, and I've got a bunch of buddies that are investing in Costa Rica as well. So those are two places that I've considered, but right now I'm just in the US just because I have the opportunities to buy at a massive discount. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, cool. So as we are coming to an end, if my audience, if they want to connect with you, how can they find you, Chris?
Yeah. So one of a couple ways. One, you can go to Instagram at Craddock. Anybody that sends a message, I personally answer those messages. So feel free to send me a message there, a DM. I think I was looking earlier. I've only got 3 right now, so I'm almost caught up. So yeah, feel free to send a message there. Also, if you are a real estate agent, I have a podcast as well. The average podcast listener listens to 7 podcasts. So please keep listening to this, but I'd love to be one of your other 7. That's called the Uncommon Real Estate Podcast. So please feel free to join us over there if you are a real estate agent. And if you've thought about becoming a real estate agent, reach out to me. Or you are a real estate agent and you want to level up your business, start working with investors, just reach out to me either through chriscraddock.com or just through Instagram. And I'd love to help you level up.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chris. We have come to the end of the show. I hope you guys found this really, really beneficial. I have learned a lot from speaking with Chris today, and I know all this information will be helpful as you guys are starting or about to start your real estate investment journey. So connect with Chris. He's on Instagram, and I'm going to leave all his links on the show notes. Thank you again for listening. Till next time again, keep winning, guys. Keep winning.